I talk to people in my everyday life. I talk to people every day in my, in life in general about different things. And I think that given the chance, I got something to offer.
Unmute yourself, James. All
Can
right.
you hear me now?
Nah, there you go.
Okay, my Bluetooth. Like you said, my name is James Coleman. I was recently released after going 31 years and 2 days in prison. I went in at 18 years old and I came home at 49, 2023. Um, it was tough, Luckily, I had a strong support team and everything like that because a lot of times when you're taken away from loved ones, and you're around people that's constantly trying to get over and take over and do certain things to you, it can be a struggle. You wind up doing a lot of things that you normally wouldn't do. Um, it started with me, man, when I was young, what I'm saying? Just little things, not listening, doing things just for thrill and stuff like that. But one of the hardest things that I learned is you can only beat yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? If there's a lot of demons, like with me personally, man, I was battling a lot of demons, man. I didn't really want to share with anyone because I was embarrassed, you know what I'm saying? It led me down the road of drugs at a young age and started doing them drugs at a young age, man. Made make a lot of poor decisions in my life. And once I got incarcerated, I was angry at the world, man. I blamed everyone but myself, you know what I'm saying? And it took me a long time in there, man, to actually come to terms with you done this to yourself, right? But I think what got me on the straight and narrow more than anything, I always had the thirst to learn. I always went to school. But one of my friends, I don't know what he would believe in, but I hope he believed in higher power. He was like, James, you got to learn to forgive yourself, man. You know, if you can't forgive yourself, man, you'll never be able to move on and be successful in life. Like you made a mistake. Unfortunately, it was a terrible mistake. You know what I'm saying? But once you learn to forgive yourself and love yourself, that's when you can start to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Take control of the demons that's holding you back. You know what I'm saying? So, when I started talking to people, man, and started surrounding myself with people, man, that wanted to move forward and not people that always wanted to get high and stuff like that, I was able to achieve more things, man. Even like right now, man, I still get the urge sometimes, and I might want to smoke a blunt. I go out there, see some of my friends or whatever. And, when I see him, I start shaking my head, I'm like, damn, bro, 50 years old, still out here doing the same shit we was doing. We was 20 something, but for him, 20 something, but I'm in the joint. And, one of the first things they say is, yo, I'm out here. And I'm like, yo, it's a damn shame that you got, you proud to say you out here. Nah, bro, you know what I'm saying? It's time to move forward and move past things, you know what I'm saying? Everybody always say we're a part of our environment. Nah, that's not the case, man. You know what I'm saying? You're only a part of your environment if you let yourself be a part of your environment. You know what I'm saying? And I refuse to accept that. So that's why when I was incarcerated, I went to school, I went to school, I went to school. As bad as I hate to isolate myself from some of my friends, you know what I'm saying? I had to do it because I stayed mad all the time, you know what I'm saying? And I realized that I didn't want to bring that to the street, you know what I'm saying? So when a lot of people see me and talk to me when I'm working and stuff like that, I kind of bring forward some of the things that, how every now and then you just hear somebody say something off the wall about somebody that, they feel that's been locked up before or such and such family and stuff. I try not to pay that any mind, but I don't know why, but it's like I have a need sometimes to defend the people that are in less fortunate situations, you know what I'm saying? Like the addicts or the people that's locked up or the people that's never been through it, you know what I'm saying? I always find myself like, kind of like speaking for them. A lot of times, we don't have a voice for them people, you know what I'm saying? I just want to be a voice for the people that's locked up, people that's going through it, and just help somebody try to, navigate the everyday struggles. I still struggle every day. I call on my instructors. I call on some of my friends that's been locked for a long time and got businesses. I'm married. I'm 9 months into my marriage. I love my wife dearly, but even still, then, man, I find myself sometimes with some of the decisions that creep into my mind as, the immature James, you know what I'm saying? The James that's not used to being in a relationship, the single James, how I would have done things. So a lot of times I have to really call on friends and family, man, to help me navigate my marriage. You know what I'm saying? Because if not, man, I could be sucked back into the old way of thinking, destroy my marriage. And I know I got a good one. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been working 2 months. 2 months I've been out of work. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want for anything. My wife has had my back. You know what I'm saying? And this is somebody that I met, as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? When I was out there ripping running the street, life happened to me and life happened to her. But, by the grace of God, we reacquainted. You know what I'm saying? About 18 months ago, we've been married almost a year. You know what I'm saying? So, don't let nobody else hold you back, man. You can be your own demon, man. You gotta conquer that demon.
Yeah. So James, let me ask you something. Just take me back for a minute.
Yes, sir.
Did the environment have a say to what went on in your life? Meaning,
Hey,
when you walked outside, what did you see? Did the environment, poverty, the people you hung around, just the peers, when did you start? When did the drug use, the alcohol use, or what did that start? When did that start?
it's crazy when people ask me that, what I'm saying? Especially people that know me. It's like, James, you wasn't brought up like that. Believe it or not, I had both parents in my house. You know what I'm saying? I
So
had
that
both parents
stigma,
in my house.
of single parent and all that stuff didn't hit you.
Yeah. Nah, that's BS, man. That's
So
BS. You know what I'm saying?
so
My
what was
pops was a Vietnam veteran, bro. My pops was a Vietnam veteran. My mom's worked every day. I played in the band. When I was tired of playing in the band, I played football. You know what I'm saying? So
so
that's the
what
BS,
was it? Experiment? It was just experiment with it, hanging out with your own group.
I think, you know what I'm saying, wanting to be grown once I got into high school because I played sports in junior high on up. You know what I'm saying? I think once I got into high school, it opened me up to more kids in the city because I stayed just outside of the city. You know what I'm saying? So once I switched high schools and started getting around to kids that I don't know, man, being at home at the time, which I had a good way of life. But once I went into the city and visited those kids, it was like they had no restraints. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And coming from my two-parent home where, it was more, how can I say, it had more structure. We had more structure at my house. And so going out, it was kind of like, in a weird way of saying it, man, it was like, wow, this is it, man. I could get loose, I could get free, you know what I'm saying? And I could run wild a little bit. I started experimenting with drinking, you know what I'm saying? And my parents, sometimes I would come in drunk, but my pops would always say, you miss your curfew, you sleep outside tonight, you know what I'm saying? I actually missed that curfew twice. So being, in that strict environment, and then, if I wanted to go out, of course they would allow me to go out, but it wasn't the same as when they went to work on a night shift and I would sneak away at night. As long as I know I got to beat pops home, you know what I'm saying? So dipping and dabbing into that street life here and there, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was missing something that I wasn't getting at home, you know what I'm saying? And it drove me into rebellion against my parents. And once I stepped out into the streets, that's what led me to, doing what I did to 31 years of my life.
Well,
You know
so
what I'm saying?
think well, looking back at it, because I use this, we generally call it fake love or that what you were chasing. What was it now that you can look back and see what were you chasing? Because you had your parents, you had a good
Yeah.
family. Out. You didn't have to sell the drugs to survive. You didn't have to see
No,
mom
of
do
course not.
something. So, what was that thing that led you out there? Because they were trying to put structure and some kind of stillness in your life.
Looking back on it now as a mature adult, when you think back as a kid, you're thinking, you're not having the fun that your friends are having. You know what I'm saying? But now as a grown man, you're like, okay, you call running out in the streets with their pants hanging down and, their moms and them not looking over them. They sitting in there getting high. You call it having fun. Like I said, it was like, for me, when I went in the streets and hung around, then it was more like freedom. Whereas I'm at home all the time, like, man, shit, I don't want to cut no damn grass. Man. Shit, man. I do all this fucking homework, man. Gotta go feed the dogs. To me, that was kind of like a stale life. Like I said, I had everything I wanted. My brothers and I, we had everything. But to me, at the time, it was like, it wasn't fun. even though I had my brothers, you know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, I'm pretty sure somebody can identify with that. You know what I'm saying? But I just felt like I was missing something. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to the streets, even though what I was doing was wrong, it was almost in some weird way like it was a thrill. You know what I'm saying? Doing something, trying to get away with it. You know what I'm saying?
So, okay. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. You had all this. You don't have to have the struggles. You didn't have the struggles of many inner city black
Right.
kids or the environment. Take me to that night when it all changed, if you could, because
Um.
this is gonna be shared.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
Right.
some adolescents see this. There're gonna be some people
Right.
see it on a young adulthood. They're gonna
Right.
be some people you can touch, even reach, even at adulthood. But
Right.
there's a certain distinct sound when you know
Hmm.
when the doors close behind. There's a distinct sound.
Right.
There's a
Right.
distinct thing that goes through your head. What have I done now? Now you was just in the streets.
Right.
You were doing your thing. You had your freedom,
Right.
and then something happened.
Okay. Okay. You want me to take you back to the night that led to my incarceration, or to the night, like
Yeah.
you said, the door closed behind me?
Well, you can bring it up to bring it how you see fit. Because while we
Okay.
trying to, we got to
Um.
paint this picture. Because you got the youth out here now.
Right.
They think getting incarcerated is a badge of honor. Right?
Oh man. Uh,
They
you
think
know.
taking somebody's life is nothing. They think robbing, killing, and all this stuff is nothing. It's a game.
It's. I'm gonna tell you something. And when I say this, I say this with no disrespect. Anybody can take someone's life. You know, you might feel it's nothing, but hey, you know, you let your 2 year old play with that gun, they fire wrong, they can take your life. But unfortunately, that's what I done that night. I'm a, like I said, I'm a fast forward. I was very angry at home, you know, once I started rebelling. And it was towards my pops, you know what I'm saying? But I had built up so much hatred in a short period of time. You know what I'm saying? Once I hit the streets, that one night at the club, you know, some of my friends, someone said something to me, man, and I went outside and I waited on, and that was that. You know what I'm saying? It was that quick. But once they came and got me, you know, 3 or 4 days later, um, that's almost like when reality set in. Once my mom came and she talked to me, she was like, James, why? You know what I'm saying? And when I went in there, they shut the door behind me. It was like I'm never gonna go home. You know what I'm saying? And you know, all that stuff that was going on in the club, and you know, I'm in there by myself, you know, it broke me down, you know what I'm saying? As an 18-year-old, it's like you by yourself now. With all these grown men, these thieves, rapists, murderers, somebody trying to get over on you. And when you get sentenced and go into the system, and when somebody broke it down to me, like, James, you are never going home. I'm like, no, they tell me I'll go home. I'm 35. It's like, no, they lied to you. You have a life sentence. You are never going home. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the day that I kind of like lost a piece of myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, never going home. I never get to see my mom again. You know what I'm saying? And because of all that hatred that I had in me, you know what I'm saying? From, you know, I think it was probably because I was crying out for help, man,
Okay.
you know, in my own way, but couldn't get it. You know what I'm
Just
saying?
I was about to ask you about that because there's a
Yeah,
stigma in our culture in the black neighborhood. Why are
right,
we so as a man, and this could be to all men? Why are we
right,
so scared to ask for that help? The pride, the one that keeps us in bondage, because we want to see because
right,
the fear of being shown that we're weak. That's that
right,
stigma. Suck it
right,
up. You're a man. Man handle different things. So
right,
what do you do with the pain? You didn't have a outlet. So
right.
in your words, just tell me what could an outlet
And,
back then really change the could you seen things done differently if you would have just went to someone that would have
if I, right, I think I could have been brought back to the reality that I was in when I was with my parents. You know what I'm saying? I was going through my rebellious streak. You know what I'm saying? And the hatred I was building up was against one of my parents. You know what I'm saying? Doing my cry for help, I felt like if I could have just Of course, what I'm saying, not committed a crime, but I think it's I would have been intercepted by someone that actually seen that need that I was trying to, what I'm saying? I think that situation could have been prevented and my life would have been different. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times when people send those cries for help out, if you're not like the person that's been through it or trained to recognize these things, a lot of time, I mean, to you, it's kind of like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with him. He say that every time he been like that a week, leave him alone. Yeah, he all right. Until somebody does something or something happens to him, they're like, well, damn, why he ain't just come talk to me?
Yeah.
Because some people just not good at asking for help. You know what I'm saying? And then just like me, my father was a real country boy, tough dude. Vietnam vet type cat. You feel where I'm coming from? So he always had an image, you know what I'm saying? He was a warrior. That's what he always taught me and my brothers, you know what I'm saying? I ain't raising
Mhm.
no chumps around my house, I'm raising warriors. So when you 8, 9 years old, bro, you know what I'm saying? When I say this right here, I don't disrespect anyone, but I'm coming from the words of my stepfather. He's like, I'm not raising any, you know, the term he used for homosexual men. I'm not raising no around my house, I'm raising warriors. You know what I'm saying? So when he got you steady, he has a violent way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? So when he's pressing this on his team, that's not a good look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And of course, I can't fight my pops at that young age like that. You know what I'm saying? So when I got out in the streets, you know what I'm saying, my mentality was always, I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. Even through all of my years in prison, I keep the door down in prison. You can look it up. James Coleman, 0082378. I had 40 infractions off the rip in 6 years. Plotting to stab a fool's worth, assault on officers. Because of all this rage I took it into prison with me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Until I started seeking help. You know what I'm saying? So um, until somebody recognizes that cry for help, man, and you got people that's willing to help those people, man, because a lot of time, like you say, man, we as men, we don't ask for help, man, because one, I'm only speaking for myself, but I know some other men can identify. You don't want to be looked at in a certain kind of way. You
There
know
you
what I'm
go.
saying?
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at me like, damn, he got his shit together, or that kind of guy, and then you hear about shit, he got a mental problem. He's going over to see Doctor such and such. That kind of does something to your image, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? When we shouldn't be worried about that. If you
That's
need
right.
help, don't be afraid to ask for it. You know what I'm saying?
Because now I put it in a way. If everybody say, mental health is a real issue with everyone in our
It
culture and
is.
everyone's culture. If you break a bone right now, would you not seek a medical doctor?
I'm going as quick as that car can get me there.
So why we got this stigma if we go see anybody, a therapist, a counselor, anything that we have to be something wrong, mental illness?
I'm gonna tell you this, man, and I could be wrong because I'm still learning. I think a lot of this comes with, man, and like I say, some people might disagree with this, man. A lot of time, man, who we around in society plays a part in it, man.
Your
You know
peers,
what I'm saying?
the stigma
Your
of the
peers,
community,
man.
and you're quite
Yeah,
correct.
man. For real, man. I
So
mean,
who we out to impress
the
though?
family, man.
If
I
you
don't
are
know, man.
hurting,
It's something.
seek the help. If you are
Yeah,
hurting, seek the
I
help.
don't
This is
know,
what I
man.
want to instill in people. If you're hurting, seek the
Right,
help. People
right,
gonna keep you on that level that they want you to be on.
right. Exactly.
You trying to get to a healthier place. But if you
Yeah.
worried about what he and her and all them saying and all that, you're gonna keep yourself in that danger zone.
Right, right. Exactly. Exactly.
So
You know,
moving,
when I no, go ahead, brother.
no. So after that night, the doors closed. Because this is kind of important. The doors closed. You hear that
Yes.
sound? You hear that sound? Take me back
Yes,
to that.
sir.
That sound. Take me back to that exact sound.
Uh,
A lot of people say one of the scariest sounds in the world is that 12 gauge shotgun cock. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? To me, is that cell door slamming behind you. You
that's
know what
what
I'm
I'm talking
saying? It
about.
got
That sound.
yeah,
That sound there.
right. It got so bad to the point, man, in the latter part of my bed, where it didn't bother me as a youth. You know what I'm saying? But towards the latter part of my bed, just hearing that door lock behind me in the cell, sometime, man, I would they would have to take me out, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have anxiety attacks. You know what I'm saying? I had to go on medical runs where I had to refuse it because it's like I don't know, man. I didn't want to be caged, man. I felt like it was over. You know what I'm saying? It's just horrible, man. You know what I'm saying? I felt helpless once that door closed. You know what I'm saying? So many what ifs popped in my head. But that to me, man, that door clanging like that behind me, to me, it's almost like that gauge cocking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but now you out there for like I said, this is gonna go out, and this got to go. Everybody's the tough guy to that sound. That sound happened.
Yes.
Then you have that first appearance, and they read you off all these charges. They read you all, and then they say life without the possibility of parole. Now you sitting in there. There's
Right.
still there's a like a cool off time. This is a year before you go to Superior Court. They get you all together. Now you got a year to think
Right.
about this. Now the fun
Right.
and games are gone. The seriousness of this crime kicks in.
Right.
That this is going to be my life forever. Now you get sentenced, you go to the yard, you go to prison.
Right.
Tell me about it.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I was scared. You know what I'm saying? I was scared, but at the same time, I had already made it up into my mind. You know what I'm saying? That if I'm gonna die in prison, ain't nobody gonna pump me, ain't nobody gonna take my shit, or none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I went in fighting. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When I when I got when I got sentenced, man, it was December '92. Mike Dice, Michael Jordan dad got killed that following summer. I didn't even know about it because I was on my way to maximum security. You know what I'm saying? So I had already went in there with a mentality like, yo, if I'm gonna die in here, I'm gonna do this time how I want to. You know what I'm saying? And if you want something from me, you're gonna damn near have to kill me to get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna
Super
bother you.
hydration.
Huh?
No, go ahead. I'm trying
No,
to move. They talk.
no, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother you, but I done my time with the mentality of don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Don't bother me unless you're ready to die because I'm gonna die here. You know what I'm saying? These people don't told me that, hey, you got life 20 and 30s and you're never going home. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, it's like, what do I got to lose? You know what I'm saying? What do I got to lose? But once I think at the age of 25, in 2000, I got a fight with Austin in the kitchen. And my father, I wrote my mother asking for some money. And my father intercepted the letter. He wrote back. He was like, listen, he said, you wanted to be with your friends. He said, now you're in there with your friends. He said, me and your mom getting old. We ain't gonna be running up and down the damn highways seeing you because you want to be with your friend. Don't write no damn letter in my house and we'll talk some damn shit about some money. It was along those lines, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So in my mind, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't mad that he said that. I'm like, why he reading my damn mail? And then didn't send me no money. But later on, the letter hit hard, you know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, you put yourself there because you wanted to be with your friend. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
man up and do that damn time with your friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once I got out of SIG, a year later, that's when I started taking a lot of classes, man. I told my mom, right then, a couple of years later, you know what I'm saying? Like, baby, I'm coming home before I'm 50. You call my mama Mr. C when you get off the joint. I'm like, baby, I'm coming home before I'm 50. You know what I'm saying? Because now I know I started finding religion and faith and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm believing now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just let this here go. It was a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Letting go, smoking the weed in there. You know what I'm saying? Drinking the ball. You know what I'm saying? Fighting on the basketball court. But once I got my life together in there, you know what I'm saying? Good things started happening for me. You know what I'm saying? I made my minimum custody. I was able to go work out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I was able to build $10,000 in my bank account and bring home when I was released from prison. You know what I'm saying? And so even to this day, man, once I got out, man, it was a struggle. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going through some things now that I'm struggling with. But guess what? It's good out here. I'd rather struggle in here
Yeah.
seeking help than to be struggling in there with no help. Feel me?
So, so James, after all that, what was that? You said that that why moment that clicked in. That's good. You got,
Mm-hmm.
me, the anger, you got over that. Now
Right.
you're out, you're trying to make some of yourself.
Right,
The struggle, it is hard, but don't give up. This is what I want you to do. You know what I
right,
mean? You're gonna hear those no's. They're gonna look at your background. Your background don't reflect
right,
what you're doing now.
right,
So never
exactly.
give up. I would tell you that never give up because I've been along your lines as well, and I couldn't. That word no didn't exist to me. You just told me I couldn't have it. Now I'm
Right,
going harder. That's all you
right,
just made
exactly.
me do. Just go harder. That's all. Because
Right.
I ain't got nothing to prove to the world, and you don't have nothing to prove to the world. You got to prove to yourself.
Yeah, man. That's and I think that's what with me more than anything. I like helping people anyway, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like I say, I've been on the side, man, where I just made bad decisions. They don't tell how my life would have turned out. You know what I'm saying? But by making those bad decisions at a young age, put me in a place where it's leading me to this career path that I'm searching for because it opened my eyes to the struggle for 31 years. You know what I'm saying? It opened my eyes to the struggle, man, and let me see some things that I probably wouldn't have seen had I been living, what I'm saying, with my parents, and I probably been retired from somewhere because I really wanted to go for the military. But once I hit the streets, that killed that shit. But by me taking this detour in life, it really helped me open my eyes. Like this is what I really want to do. You know what I'm saying? This is
Okay.
what I really got a passion for, man. Is helping people, man.
Okay. So in closing, just as before I open it up to the panel or
Right.
the group, what would you say to that young man about to make that mistake right now?
Um, I tell them don't do it, man. Like, yo, bro, don't do it. You got any kind of love for anyone in your household, your daughter, or yourself, man, don't do it. Think about it. And because I've been on the inside in the legal ramifications, I will run down a whole lot with them, bro. You know what I'm saying? This wouldn't be one of them. Hey, bro, don't do it. Think about it. Boom, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? If I know the brother about to step off that edge like that, I want to spend some time into it and give him all the reasons in the world not to do it. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, love yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you can't even love yourself, man, do it for your daughter. You know what I'm saying? How would your mother feel? You know what I'm saying? Do you just tell me you love your mother? You know what I'm saying? How do you think it make your mother feel? Anything good that he told me that he had in his life, I will let that be the focal point. And even if the person didn't have anything good in their life, you know what I'm saying? I would still try to build them up, make them see the good within themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
They got to be some kind of good left in, you know what I'm saying? Because if not, you wouldn't be here talking to me about it. You know what I'm saying?
that's right. Hey, good stuff.
Like,
Good stuff.